To solve this data sufficiency question, we'll go ahead and consider each statement separately first and then together if needed. The question asks us whether x is greater than 10. So let's go ahead and interpret that in terms of our math symbols. So we're looking for whether x is greater than 10. And let's dive into statement 1 first. We're told that the sum of x and y is strictly greater than 10. So we know that x plus y is greater than 10. So let's consider a couple different cases. What if x is equal to 6 and y is equal to 6? In this case, x plus y, so 6 plus 6, would equal 12, and that would be greater than 10. So it satisfies our statement. However, we're asked whether x is greater than 10. And in this case, x would not be greater than 10. But that doesn't mean that for all x's, this answer would be no. So let's go ahead and consider another case. What if x is equal to 15? And say y is equal to 15. In this case, our statement is satisfied. 15 plus 15 would equal 30. And that is greater than 10. So the question would then ask us, is x greater than 10? So in this case, yes, x is greater than 10. We can't definitively say yes or no to whether x is greater than 10 for all x's, because sometimes it may not be, and sometimes it may be. So in this case, this would be not sufficient. This statement would not be sufficient. We can actually eliminate answer choice A and D because statement 1 alone would not be sufficient. Now let's go ahead and consider statement 2. So statement 2 says that y is less than 10. So y is less than 10. But our question asks whether x is greater than 10. Statement 2 gives us no information about x, so there's no way that we can decide whether or determine whether x will be greater than 10 or not. This statement alone is not sufficient. Thus, we can actually eliminate answer choice B. But we're still left with answer choice C or E, so our last resort is to combine the statements. So let's go ahead and combine both statements. So statement 1 and 2 together essentially tell us that x plus y is greater than 10 and y is less than 10. Let's look at a couple of test cases. Suppose y is equal to 5 and x is equal to 6. In this case, our first statement is satisfied. X plus y, which would be 11, is greater than 10, so that's satisfied. Y is less than 10, so 5 is less than 10, that's also satisfied. But if we take a look at the actual question, x equal to 6 is not greater than 10. So the answer to our question here would be no in this scenario. But let's consider another case. What if y is equal to 5 and x is equal to 15? Now again, we have that x plus y, which would be 20, would be greater than 10, so statement 1 is satisfied. Y would be less than 10 because 5 is less than 10, so that statement 2 is also satisfied. And in this case, our x is greater than 10, so the answer to our question would be yes. Now, since we can't definitively say yes or no to this question for all possible x's, that x would be greater than 10, it depends on what the value of x is, and there are certain scenarios where either is true. So in this case, the statements together are not sufficient. We can actually eliminate answer choice C, and the correct answer would be answer choice E.